Hi friends, today we're going to make a card. We're going to do a card using the spot of color technique. And we're going to do a focal point where we're focusing on one element of the card, and it's going to be a color. So we're going to get started today. We are going to use the spotlight of nature. I'm going to use this flower right here, this butterfly. Oops, there you go, one right there. And I'm going to use this element right here. It's some little splats, so like a little background. So let's get started with this flower. I went ahead and I pre-stamped it today using basic gray, and I stamped it right here. I used our regular inks. These are a water-based ink. I went ahead and used that because I'm not going to color that flower. I'm going to leave that color a gray, that flower a gray. And I also took the little spots right here. Can you see the little things right there? And I went ahead and did those where I wanted to in that basic gray. Now, because I'm not going to color any of this, I used the basic gray. However, I want to go ahead and use my focal point. So I'm going to use a permanent ink memento. So we're going to do that now. So because we're going to color the butterfly, I'm using a permanent ink. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my butterfly. I think I want to position it about right there. There you go. I went ahead and I got my butterfly ready using permanent ink. And remember, I'm going to be using alcohol markers. So, you want to use a permanent ink when you're using watercolor pencils, watercolor paints, or markers. So I'm using markers today. That's why we're using a permanent ink. Otherwise, you would use a regular water-based ink pad. So here we go. So I got my butterfly stamped, and I'm going to move that out the way. Now on the butterfly here, I chose pink, of course, and I used Flirty Flamingo Light and Flirty Flamingo Dark. That is the Stampin' Blends markers. For this flower, I am going to use Pool Party. As for this flower. For this butterfly, I'm going to use Pool Party. And I'm going to choose to use this end, the brush-tipped end. Now, you know, coloring is very relaxing. So sometimes I will just go ahead and stamp some things, get my markers, and just go ahead and take a little quiet time. If you know me, I don't do that very often. And color me a few things, whether it's my Bible journaling, things like that. Getting things ready for a prep or a crop. I went ahead and just go over the edges, and I know that it's not going to run because why, ladies? That's right. I used a permanent ink. I'm going to go in with the darker shade and do my butterflies. You always want to do your lighter elements first because you could always make things a little darker, but it's really difficult to make them a little lighter. Now, when I said it's a little more difficult to make them a little lighter, I didn't say you couldn't. I just said it's a little bit difficult. So I got a little bit dark right here. So I'm going to take my colorless blender and just go over that little area to make it just a little lighter. And it will remove a little bit of that darkening as it dries. So I just went ahead and I'm gonna, it's a colorless blender, I'm sorry, color lifter, colorless blender, it just depends on which one to say. And I wanted to remove a little bit of that color off that butterfly. And as it dries, you'll see how it'll lift the color. And then I'm gonna take my lighter Pool Party. Is that the lighter one? Oh no, that's the darker one. Oops, sorry. I'll go over this with the lighter of the pool party. The Stampin' Up! Markers, alcohol markers, come in sets of 2. So if you wanted this pool party, you would get both of those. The darker and the light, and then the Flirty Flamingo dark and light. Now the color lifter comes alone. And let me go over where I kind of use that darker color. But this is what I wanted to do for this butterfly. I wanted to make it that color. And then I'm also going to take this in, the darker one, oops. And I'm going to take that chisel tip in, just put a little color by my flowers. Got it the way I want it. Now I have decided to use Simply Said and do just a note. So that's what color that's what sentiment I'm going to use on the outside of the card. And I want to use black because I want it to stand out. So you can use a regular black. I'm going to use mementos because I got it right here. And I'm going to place it about right there. Just a note. And the outside of my card is finished. So I'm going to take my basic black. Oop, look what happens when you mess up. Use the other side. Now, when you're using your markers, be sure you do it on a surface that won't ruin your project. When you do that once, you won't make that mistake again, unless you forgot. There we go. Look how that just shows up so well on that black, on that basic black. So now I'm going to fold it up, and I want to line the inside of my card. So I took that stamp set and I just put a half of it on there. I used the gray because I knew that basic gray, because I knew I wasn't going to color it in. But you can use a permanent ink and color it in. There you go. There's my card. It's just a note, thinking of, like whatever you want to say, and then the card. It kind of goes together with the card. And then also, if you want to go ahead and coordinate, I went ahead and I put that little flower right there on the outside of the envelope. And it's ready to be mailed. I wanted to show you another one that I did. I used the same technique, the Flirty Flamingo. I did thank you. You never have too many thank you cards. And on the inside, I left it plain. Now, I'll probably go back and stamp it because I really like how all this ties in together. Or I can simply just put a little butterfly. Let me go ahead and do that. While I'm here, let me go ahead and I'm going to use the basic gray because I'm not going to color that butterfly. And I'm going to go ahead, oops, I hit my camera. I'm going to go ahead and finish this while we're here. My card is completely finished now. All I have to do is address it. So, thank you for your time. If you want to head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe, you can also find me on YouTube. And if some of these items are something you're interested in, you can go to my pinkscrappygurl.stampinup.net, use this hostess code at checkout, and start your coloring experience and getting our Stampin' Blend markers. Now you can purchase them 2 at a time. I'm sorry, 1 set at a time, and you get both. And that way, if you want to just start building your stash and get your cards. But there you go. Thank you for watching. You have a good day. Bye-bye.